Welcome to my Permadeath series for No Man's Sky, and here we are. We're stood in the new base location that I discovered in the previous part. This is quite an interesting base location, but I've been stood here trying to think about what I want to build here. So in this video I thought what I'm going to do is just talk about why do you build bases in No Man's Sky. In fact, do you actually need a base? And I think in some ways that is both an easy and a difficult question to answer, because the easy answer is no, you don't really need to build a base in No Man's Sky anymore for reasons which I'll explain as I go through. So effectively you're really just building bases in order to accomplish specific goals, or just to be able to share it with people if you're playing in multiplayer. And of course I think some people like to put their stamp on the landscape in the sense of having a home. Now I'm going to be completely honest, by nature I'm a little bit nomadic in both my gaming and in real life. I mean, technically my home is where I hang my hat, to be honest. I don't have a big attachment to any specific location. I've always been a little bit of a nomad. My gameplay in all games tends to reflect that. So let's just get back to why I've actually built this base, and probably the best way to explain it is that, so if I go into here, I'll just show you the bases that I've currently got in this playthrough. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I've got, this is my 8th base that I'm currently stood on, because of course it doesn't show you the base. And the main reason I'm building base is so that I've actually got a link to all the different galaxies that I've got. So strictly speaking, I only need one base in each galaxy, but of course I've acquired some few old bases which I've built since the beginning of this Let's Play. For any of you who've never come to this channel before, this Let's Play is approximately a year old. I think well, it'll be a year in August 2020. And you can see I've made various attempts at building bases. Now some of these reflect the changes in the game, so anyone who's relatively new to the game, you need to be aware that bases were not part of the original base game. They were added later on, and when they were first introduced you could only ever have one base, and when you moved the base, the old base was taken apart, and then what they actually did was they introduced the ability to build multiple bases, and of course you can build them everywhere. And then of course the bases by nature have actually expanded over time, so to include power, which is now a new requirement here, which is in some ways starts to drive where your base location is going to be, although there are options with power that you can build bases using generators, but to be honest the best way is to actually just use the ones over hotspots. What I'll do is I'll give you a bit of a base tour actually. Let's just go back to, if I can remember where was it? Going roaming. I think this is the first base I actually built. So if we go back to this base, so here we are, we're back at the first base I ever built, and this shows you the how this base was powered. It was powered by solar powered, because I think when I built this base hotspots didn't exist, so you had to use solar power. And you can see it's a very simple base, because when you first start out you invariably end up building a base simply because what you want to do is be able to deploy storage vaults so you can store more items. And again, originally storage vaults were very important, but you could only ever have 10. But of course they've now introduced the ability where you can link storage vaults together. So say for example here, I can come in here and I can see what I've got in storage vaults effectively somewhere else, and I can go to another base and do it. So you can use storage vaults to connect your bases together. But your first base often was to get the storage vaults. And of course if you go back into the history of the game, before you also had to put in your base specialists in order to do missions to unlock the tech to be able to build better and better bases. But of course that changed when they introduced the anomaly, in the sense that with the anomaly now, if you've got nanites, you can go up and buy all the tech. You can understand why Hello Games did it, because it plays into the multiplayer. Also, the base missions have always been a little bit glitchy, so there was always complaints about people being unable to complete them, unlock the weapons and the tech. So I can understand why Hello Games added the anomaly. Also, you can see in here is another feature of one of the problems you can have with bases, especially at bases that have been here for a long time. I mean, it's been months since I've actually been back here. That is that if you build a base that actually goes into the landscape, eventually the landscape slowly grows back. If I come here, but what you can do is just clear it away again but it's one of the annoying features which has never been really fixed. So you can just kind of go through here and just clear away. As I say, I haven't been back to this base for a very long time. Got a single Gravitino ball. I think this is a leftover from doing the base mission, so let's pick it up. So we got that there. Just clear out that little corner there. And for some reason, that's unusual. Why have I got that there? I mean, I scanned all the minerals around this base. That's interesting. Now, it looks like all the minerals on this planet, which is one of the planets I discovered very early in the game. I'm not even sure that it's actually on the list. Let's go and have a look at my discoveries list. You can see right here. You can see it's right down the bottom here. One thing about this visited list is the fact that systems do drop off this over time. So if you can see here, I mean, the list is long, but it's not as, it probably doesn't represent every system that I've visited. In fact, if we probably come here and we click on this one, and you see that was discovered 8 months ago. And let's just do, well, no, I won't do the upload. Where's this one? So in some ways what the game tends to do is remember the systems that were discovered by other people but not you. So it's almost like these are, so yeah, it's interesting. Oh, there's one there that I discovered. What's that? The Corvax. What was that? That was discovered 4 months ago. So again, this isn't a reason to build a base. If you've got a system that you really like, you want to keep. If you put a base on it, the base acts as a permanent marker. And I suppose that comes to the reason why I'm building bases, and that is that I want to be able to move between the galaxies. So by having a base in every galaxy, it means I can move between the galaxies. So again, if I come into here, and I'll just show you. If I come in here, you can see I've got a base in the Hilbert galaxy. And if I come out here now, nope, it's not. Where is it? Where's the new base? There it is there. Return to mission agent, Calypso galaxy. So that is the new base that I've just found. It says I've got a couple of missions to cash in, but that's misleading. Then all the remaining bases are in the Euclid galaxy. So that's the primary reason I'm building a base, because if for some reason, say in the future, Hello Games introduces a change which can only be done in the Euclid galaxy, but probably a better example would be, say, I suddenly decided I want to go to one of the community areas, which most are in the Euclid galaxy. I could come back to one of these bases and then travel to the community area and then build a new base, and then that will allow me to return to community area while still continuing to explore galaxies. So this is something you need to remember, that if you are going to be moving between galaxies, is always leave at least one base in every galaxy. Anyway, so this is a quick tour of my base. You see, obviously it's night, so the things go there. And I think what we'll do is we'll just go and show you some of the other bases I built at the time. So that's the Hilbert home base. And let's just have a look what bases have I got. Frost Farm is just a very simple base. It's just got a base computer and a couple of frost plants. And that goes back to when I first started this series. I had this idea that I'd build a series of bases on different planets and then leave all the plants outside. But after Hello Games actually introduced the ability to collect all the crops inside of a hemisphere in one go, that became a little bit redundant. I think that's my primary base. Top tip: name your bases according to what they are, so you actually remember what they're actually for. Yeah, this is the base I'm looking for. The idea behind this base was to be my primary location in the Euclid galaxy. As you can see, I never really got round to finishing it, and this area here is something I do tend to build on most of my major bases. It even predates this playthrough. What this is you've got all the vaults in one room, and then you've got the refiners in the center here. So this can be used as a kind of production manufacturing area. And I found this quite useful, but I'm not sure if I want to build this in my new base. Maybe we could do a new approach, but I must admit it is very efficient. And I think the original plan for this base was to have this as like a dome. You can see there's star bulbs up in there, and then I was going to go out over the water, but I think if I need resources for my new base, I think I might actually scrap this. Actually, I think we're just going to do that. Actually, we're just going to pull this out. Though to be honest, I don't. Oh, thank you, game. Glass. I think the glass would be quite useful, and we're just going to shove that into. Just put it up into the freighter to be safer in the freighter. And let's put that in there. We'll just leave that. No. Put that down to there. That can go to the freighter. I've got some scaly meat, because I had to kill a predator, which is the reason why I've got those missions. Yeah. So we're just gonna just gather this, which is another reason why I wanted to come and do a base tour, because I'm going to need some resources. You can see there's a little bit of a power cable coming up there. So we've just hooked this out here. Curiosity. Yeah. Again, I got the option to rescan the creatures. And this was my new approach that I moved to, was to have all my farming in one area. So you see we've got frost crystals in here. I think this is fungal mold. And of course, what happened is, after building this base, Hello Games introduced the ability to go in there. Actually, what we will do is we'll just grab the frost crystals. So what I might do is use this base to drive some of the key resources I'm going to need to lay out my new base. You can see here I put down the hemispheres, but I never really got round to putting the plants in them. So I could come back and grab these should I need it. And we got the Mordite. I think what we got here is some cactus flesh, and so I could probably use this to populate my new base, or truthfully I could just leave this the way it is and come back here if I need plants. It probably might be the better option. So in some ways, in my new base, do I really need a farms? And I can just make it into a mining base and just somewhere to drop off and stay. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to probably do, is we'll just leave this as the farming base, and I will put more plants into these over time. I think they're all hooked up, and of course we've got this hooked to a major power station here. Yeah, I mean this has got a field strength of 95%. So you could call this a farming base, which is another experiment I've got now. For anyone who's not familiar with bases, what we'll do is we'll just go to another location in the Euclid Galaxy. I can remember where it is. I think it's Star Farm Mining. You can see I've actually named this, so I actually know what the base actually is, which is very useful. And this is my mining base, and I thought I'd got rid of this thing. I'm absolutely sure I deleted this. This is the beatbox. Again, apologies, I can't remember which update this was introduced with. Probably one of the more annoying features in the game. Unless, of course, you really like that. Actually, sorry, you've got to go. Oh, of course, I filled this up with. I think what we'll do is just shove this in the storage containers and get that out of the way. We can just use up some oxygen. Top that up. I can go to the freighter. I can go to the freighter. This invariably needs topping up, so we'll just put a bit of carbon in there. And I think that can go to the freighter. Well, my freighter's full up now. Okay, we're just going to shove that in the storage. Really need to put the fireworks somewhere because it's. Sorry, beatbox, you've got to go. That's better. So this is a mining base, and if I come in here, the the actual resource here is copper. You can see I've got 4,500 copper on here, and in some ways this base was really an optimized base, because over here I've got oxygen. So here you can see I've got 2,250 oxygen. So with this base I'm never ever going to run out of copper and oxygen. And just to show you, if I come here, the actual the copper mine is about 300 units over there. I think it's actually on the top of that mountain there. And then if I come to here, you can see that the oxygen deposit out there is out that way, and you can see the pipes running out here, and of course you've got to run power out to it. Now another interesting aspect of this base is, well, I can actually, what you can see, what I've also done is put some starball plants out here, because this is a reasonably pleasant planet, so we could pick the star bulbs up while we're here as well. If I come up over here, you can see the power cable. This is put in relatively early. I mean, now you can put down something that will actually do it. And if I come up over the top here where the power supply is, you can see just down here, you can see the power supply is actually right next to a portal as well. So this is quite a useful base. Yeah, let's just scan that as well. Yeah, so that gives you an overview of this base. As I say, it is quite simple. And of course what I've actually done here is put in all the vaults. I just want to check something. Get in close. Yeah, I mean, I think all my vaults are now filling up with all the junk that I've been putting in. Let's just see. Actually it'd be vaults 4 and 5 most likely. Yeah. So let's put that in there, put that in there. Probably shove the gravity no ball, shove that in there, shove that in there. Yeah. Oh, I've got loads of navigation data. I'm gonna have to really sort my vaults out. So again, this base does have a use in the sense that I can get copper and oxygen from here. So this is one of the reasons why I keep it. But as you can see, I've never really developed it that well. So this base has a use in the sense that it can guarantee certain resources, but to be honest, the nature of Hello Games is you're never going to run out of resources. There's always plenty of oxygen and copper around, although to be honest, having access to copper is useful because you can make chromic metal from it. So you can actually make money from this. I mean, originally I had a low row of refiners here, so I could turn the copper into chromic metal and make money. But to be honest, I've got 410 million. Do I need to make money? That's the question you've got to ask. Making a big part of cash is something you need to do in the game, unless of course you really want to. I know some people want to do it. So I think that covers this base. It looks like I've left one. Oh, this is an oxygen harvester. Why have I got an oxygen harvester here? I mean, that seems a bit pointless. I'll just take that away. That'll give me some more metal plating and some dihydrogen jelly. Anyway, so that's another reason why you'd build a base, just to do mining and make money. And I think just to keep the tour going, I don't want to spend too long doing this. Well, we're going to get back to the reason why I'm building bases, and that is the ability to move between galaxies. So here we are. We are now in the Hilbert galaxy. So I've left the Euclid galaxy, and we are now in the Hilbert galaxy. Again, this is very much a placeholder base. I mean, it's built on an island, and this base is actually slightly unusual in the sense that the actual hotspot for the power is underwater. If I come here, when we go here, if I remember correctly, you can see, if I come here, you can see the batteries are hidden in this little alcove down here. We go down underwater, and then you can see here's the power generator here. And I thought it was just an interesting place to build it, and again you can see the very characteristic work area I built up in. It's about all I ever got round to building here because of my nomadic nature. But again, it's quite useful to do it. You know, I think the original idea with this base was to build a cubic room, go out underwater and have an underwater base. And I suppose if I really wanted to explore a water planet, this would be a good base to come back to, because this is quite a lot. I mean, most of this planet is actually water. But of course the main reason for this base is the fact that it allows me to return to the Hilbert galaxy should I ever develop a need for it. I think it's just a good way to do it, actually, to be honest. Oh, he's a predator. I don't like you hanging around. Yeah. Go away. Oh. Go away. Oops, we completed another predator mission. And okay, this is... Right, I think it's time to leave. What I'm going to do now is just go back to my... Yes. We're going to just disappear. I'm not interesting. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to my new base location. Oh, this is it. This one's scrolling the Calypso galaxy. So we're going to go back to the Calypso galaxy before the Sentinels kill me. And obviously the impact has turned the teleporter red. And here we are back in the Calypso galaxy, in the middle of a storm. Isn't that a surprise? This returns me to the original question. The main purpose of this base is to be the one and only base in the Calypso galaxy, because I want to get some benefit from it, in the sense that, well, we better top up my because the phosphorus is going down. Because we do have the indium over there, so that will allow us to make some money. Have I got you? Yes, I got you. But the question is what style of base I want to build. I mean, it's a bit unfortunate that we're in the middle of a storm, because I can't see what I want. And this isn't exactly flat, so what I'm possibly thinking is an elevated cuboid base. I mean, we got a little bit of a little bay there, because I don't really want to dig out too much land, and I don't want to put in farming hemispheres on this base, because with this uneven terrain, trying to get the hemispheres level is going to be a bit difficult. So I think the purpose of this base is going to be to do the mining over there, and possibly build a cuboid room where we can display the various artifacts we collected from special planets. And I suppose what I could do is really seriously practice my base building, which is probably a little bit rusty now because I haven't really done anything for a long time. So I'm just kind of looking round where we could build something. We got some water frontage there. We could be a bit cheeky and build something over here. So, and the question is, do I build my classic workshop or do I build something else? Well, we got a bit of a flat area here, and I think probably the best thing I want to do is actually put in the mining. So let's come into here, structures, let's go to I just want to see if I can actually make stuff in here. I think it's industry and specialisms, isn't it? Industry. So we can make an extractor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the extractor in first, just to show you how that's actually done. And I'm aware time is pushing on, and I don't want this video to be too long. So we're just going to go over here. And of course what I did was I actually dropped a beacon down, because again, if you just come in here, you can see that when you actually leave the game, the tags for where your resources are disappear. So we're just going to get up over here. So it's quite important to drop these beacons when you first get set up. Right, that's just here, so we should be able to. We are analysing the hotspots. You can see we've got activated indium, maximum density 40%. It's not brilliant. There it is there. So it's actually down in roughly around these rocks where it is. So if we come in here, industry, industrial, mining. So if we drop one about here, requires 50 power. And of course what we could do is build multiples of these. And just to show you here, you can see the density is 39%, so we're only 1% off the overall area. And of course, what it actually needs is power. And there's also pipelines, because what you obviously you don't want to keep coming out here to collect these resources. So what I'm going to need to do is work out where I'm going to put my storage vaults in next. So we've got that marked there. I mean, I could put the power cables in, but I'll do that off camera because that could be quite tedious. So we're going to come back to here. There's the teleporters. And you can see the power cable coming down across the hillside here. I think I'll make this into a storage work area here. I mean, it's fairly flat. The got battery power take off there. So let's just come into here. Industrial and gas extractor. So we've got a supply depot here. Well, we're going to have to... I think I'm going to need a great big pile of ferrite to do this. So these are the vaults you actually need to store the results of your mineral extraction. So just come in here. How much... Oops. Apologies, I've just banged the headset. We just see... Come in here, how many of these can we make? Can make 7. That gives me 10. So I think I can get in these... Actually, do I want to crowd this? I think we'll just put the storage over here. Right, so we can get 1 in. So I think what I need to do is go and get a pile of ferrite, because what I would like is a group of 4 here at least, maybe 6 in this area here, and then we can then connect these 2 up with a pipeline. You can see just if I come in here, go across, you can see that here's the pipeline, and we can then just connect that up. Anyway, right, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. The next part we'll probably get back to exploring, and going forward the videos will be a mixture of base building and exploration, because I just don't want to do video after video building the base up, because like I've already previously said, this is a marker base for me to be able to move between galaxies, so I can take my time experimenting, building stuff up. I think especially once we've got the mining situation up and running. So until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.